Reels have a longer shelf life than your 30-minute sermon potentially could have. And Reels can then support your 30-minute sermon so people will want to hear more of that sermon in its full context. What's good, y'all? All right. Man, I'm feeling 100% better today. So I hope this helps encourage the believer, the downtrodden, those who need the assistance. And today we're going to talk about Reels, man, and how some of these churches are going over and beyond with their Reels. So y'all come on in here real quick and we'll get started. And I'm going to step you through how this helps churches make better connection and make their connections go further, wider, faster with their Reels. For those of y'all who don't know me, I'm DK Hammonds, serving, leading, and connecting people to their destiny, man. I hope everybody's well. I've been sick, but I wanted to come and give y'all this because I see some of y'all lacking. And there's no way you can help the people base without improving its core. And that's what I'm here for. Let's get right into it. I'm going to show you today how to do things that help your church. Now, most people in this business will not show you the ins and outs. I'm going to show you my process today. One of them. I have several different processes that I follow, and I'm only going to show you one of them. And the reason why I'm showing you is because you can't have the base not being successful and you're not showing them how to do stuff the right way. I'm going to show y'all a way because I'm watching y'all try your best, and I know better can be done. And I simply want to help you do better, right? And so today I want to do that. So if you got any questions about social media, if you have any questions about branding, and I'm only going to deal with as it relates to pastors and churches. All right. So right now, off the base, before we even get into it, let's talk about that. So we're talking about the best cameras for streaming. Now, when you say this, I want you to understand what you're saying. There's a couple of different versions of streaming. You talk about streaming at home, or you talk about streaming at church, or you talk about streaming in your car. So let's get granular. What's the best cameras for streaming as it relates to the church context? Okay. What's the best? Now, for some of y'all are under the sound of my voice. You don't have enough volunteers to work specific cameras. Okay. So automatically you're going to be put at a disadvantage. Church streaming. All right, cool. This is going to be good. So as it relates to churches and streaming, let's deal with this streaming thing in layers. And then we'll talk about what I do for Reels later after this, because it seems like this is the most important piece. Streaming is layered. The first thing you want to get covered with streaming is you want to have good foundational tools before we even talk about what it looks like, right? Because some of y'all have already been doing it and you've been doing it with your cell phones and things of that nature. That's not good. That's not good. You are a business, you are a brand, you are a nonprofit, and to do it with your cell phone, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. Off top. With your iPads, potentially, but disadvantage. Off top. You got to invest, people of God. So, if I want good streaming, foundationally, I need to know how I'm going to distribute it. That's number one. Number one, how would I distribute my stream? Okay, so when we're talking about how you distribute your stream, there are a couple of different things that do redistribution, or they use what's called RTMP feeds, right? So that's when you're going to include Restream, Resi, Wirecast, SwitcherBox, I believe. These things are the foundation for you to be able to stream with a quality presence. You got to get that right. So the first thing I want to see is, how do I want to distribute this content? Do I want to distribute said content to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, my website all at the same time? You need what I just mentioned. What I just said, you need it. You need it tomorrow. And I ain't talking about the cheaper version. I'm talking about the version that costs. You need that. And the reason why you need it is because you'll be able to do 20 things at one time versus one. So you want to be on YouTube, you want to be on Facebook, you want to be on your website, all at the same time, same information. Continuity is important to stream it. Now, if you're asking for me to quantify this, I'm going to say my personal choice and what I refer churches to do is to go with what's called Resi. Resi is 99.9% up. That means if something happened to your stream on the back end, the stream is not going to go down. You're going to be able to have consistent quality stream all the way through, no matter what happens. I know this to be true because both churches that I currently am employed by, both use them, and their streams have never gone down by something internal of that stream. Anything that is Restream, Wirecast, SwitcherBox, StreamYard, they have the propensity to go down. And they have no guarantees or no SLAs to stay up when it comes to your streaming. That is important. That's number one. Cool. So we have the foundation under control. Now we can start saying, what sound do we need, or what audio interface do you need to ensure that the sound from in-house is also distributed outside of house? Okay, you got that? So now we have the foundation. Now we're going to go to the sound. Because it's one thing to have good quality camera on you, but man, if you ain't got the sound, and let me tell you, pastors, respectfully, of course, some of you under the sound of my voice are struggling in this area. And part of the reason that you're struggling is that you don't see the importance of this investment. If you want people to hear your message, if you want people to hear the gospel, then you should invest in a way that they can hear it effortlessly. And what you are saying, unbeknownst, you are saying that we don't want to invest in that, and the sound of the gospel is not important to us, and it's not important to you, and you're going to be fine. That's what you're communicating, unbeknownst. And we just got to take that to the chin and say, we don't want to do that. When this message is communicated and we're communicating on God's behalf, we want to make sure that streamline is coming through and it's quality. It's worth every dime. And pastors, I don't want you to take this as, okay, I'm struggling. I want you to take this as, okay, here's my opportunities to work on, to fix, to take advantage of, to be better about, and take one step at a time to be better for the year. Just one step. 1% better every Sunday. That means by the end of the year, you're 48% better than what you were at the beginning of the year. Now we get to cameras. All right. Now, cameras, again, invest in how you look, invest in how you sound, invest in your foundation, invest in how you look. Cameras, you're going for 4K cameras. And because, as I said before, many of us don't have the ability to have volunteers currently, we're probably needing to lean more toward pan tilt zooms or PTZs. That only takes one person to work, usually. Okay. And then we can start talking about the cameras that need to go inside of house. I'm more so a Blackmagic, Sony, Panasonic type of guy, Canon guy. If I'm looking for those long-term cameras, it's going to make everything look quality and crisp, right? That is what we want to be on. Okay. Now, some of us pastors don't have the ability to stream at church like that. We can take that advantage to stream at home and make sure that's right. So, man, if you already have PTZs, then all you need to work on is the sound that's being distributed through Facebook and making sure that we have good trained individuals working on the PTZs. And if you don't have training in-house, this is where you partner with another church that does have it so they can offer you that training. Because a lot of times we have the resources around us, we just don't know, nor do we ask. And we should. Okay, that is important. All right. So I hope I kind of ran through that because I know that's kind of like the main question. Do I have the right sound, right quality to make sure I'm received well? Because listen, one PTZ is going to be in that middle. Another PTZ is going to be to the right, and another PTZ is going to be to that left. That one to the middle is going to be strictly for the pastor and those who are doing solos. Then you can get other shots, but most importantly, everything's going to be forward focused. Then when you get everybody trained, 6 months to a year, now we can start doing action shots that we see everywhere else. Pastor Larry does have 4 at Mount Moriah. Okay, that's important. And you want people that's working PTZs that's keeping it focused so that you can go cut the other videos later. All those things are important, guys. I enjoy investing this way at one time. If you only got one PTZ, then the person needs to focus on when the sermon is preached and when somebody doing the solo, and when they ain't doing that, it's widespread. So they can just kind of focus on the choir. And then you build, right? Okay. I'm going to try to walk you through a way to cut your reels. What's the purpose of them? Why are we using them the way that we are using them? And how can pastors use them to maximize the Sunday sermon experience? Now, all of what I just said sets up your reels. It's a perfect segue to set up your reels. Because if the lighting is right, the sound is right, the video quality is right, and we're streaming it correctly, guess what? That reel is going to look really crisp, and we're going to be able to use the content for other platforms and other places. Pastor, you do realize, because most of y'all are pastors in here and leaders and thought leaders, you do realize that your sermon can exist for weeks, months, and years after you preached it. And I get it that you only prepare for Sunday to Sunday. But I need for pastors to start thinking from week to week, month to month, year to year, how can this information be used to impact the kingdom of God? And many of us don't, because we're only preparing for that Sunday to Sunday. So you need somebody in the room who can help you think through that. They usually sound like me. They don't necessarily look like me, but they sound like me. And they understand how this works. This is digital marketing at its finest. And we're using these various things to have an impact on the preaching ministry. And we're using this as a way to evangelize to the lost that are watching us digitally. Because some of y'all don't think that way. Oh, it's just social. We ain't got time. Man, social is the new evangelism tool. And the fact that you won't use it the way that it is intended is kind of disrespectful. And what you're saying is you only want people that's in front of you, when really God can send you more. Okay? So let's talk about reels. So on Facebook just switched it up. You got 2 boxes. The 2 boxes say stories and reels. Stories go at the top of the screen. Reels go in your regular screen feed. Each one of them have a certain size that they go to, right? And you want to make sure that that size is fitting right. So when somebody hits that button on that video, it fills up their whole phone. And it becomes an immersive experience that exists between that person and you. And at that very moment, you have their attention. Right? Now, maybe you need some living examples. So let's look at Mount Moriah. Shall we? on Instagram. Let's see. Now, Mount Moriah, some time ago, they had one Instagram page, but the Instagram page kind of went somewhere else. So we had to create a new one. We started out with a new one with no feed and nobody. We're already at 23 followers. And here's what we've done. This is Pastor Larry's page, y'all. Pastor Larry T. Cruder, Mount Moriah Baptist Church. Now, here's what we do when it comes to using his reels. Let me see if I can expand the screen out a little bit so we can really get the full effect, right? Now, Pastor Larry does not cut any of his reels. That's something that my team and myself do. We cut all these reels for him. All right. So by the time he gets it, it is sitting in a file folder for him to post on a Sunday to Sunday basis. Literally, all he has to do is open that file folder up. The reels are there. The caption is then put up there by the team, and he just adds it to his joint. Now, the reason why I want to use his page is because I want to show you his post so you can see it for yourself, right? And you can see what's happening and how it looks aesthetically and what we've changed. Now, I'm going to show you how far we go back. We started this journey a year ago. Now, here's what's important. We started a year ago, and I want you to look at the tangible numbers of people that he's had an impact with, right? That's important, y'all, because the people that he's had an impact with is huge. His reach has been huge. This one says, you can't, you may be able to see the number here. I'm gonna step away. That's 11K on his page. Okay. So imagine he doesn't have, and I'm saying this loosely, he doesn't have 11,000 people show up to his church, but now 11,000 people understand who Mount Moriah is. So this is what helps the video, right? 11K. So what's in this video? Look what it's doing. It's interactive. It has B-roll footage. It is doing some of everything that is gaining the attention socially. It only has 4 hashtags. And yet it made a dent in the industry of 11,000 people. It is the greatest evangelism and marketing tool that your church can do on a consistent basis. Do we get 11,000 people every time we put up a reel? No, that's not the purpose of the gospel. Sometimes it's going to work that way, right? Because we can do certain things and we got certain tricks in place. But its impact doesn't change. That's the importance. This is how far the reels can go for you and your church. It is revolutionized traffic to the church. It has revolutionized reach from the church in a very short time. Now, why is that important? Why am I sharing that with you? I think it's important because reels have a longer shelf life than your 30-minute sermon potentially could have. And reels can then support your 30-minute sermon so people will want to hear more of that sermon in its full context. And then you can start pointing people to that sermon so they can see that these two things align. That's why it's important. So if the quality is right, the sound is right, the lighting is right, the foundation is right, now we can get into cutting the reels the way that they're supposed to be cut. Now you have a quality product that people will enjoy and respect. Okay. And I'm saying that to pastors because some of us aren't doing the best that we have. Okay. So let me give you some of the tools that I use. I'm going to pull them up like I just pulled up this other joint. So one tool that I use, I'm going to tell y'all the tools. Let's pull it up here. Here's one. Capcut. Capcut, man. $50. Get your Capcut. You can cut these videos automatically in Capcut. That's one. Capcut is one of the tools that I use to cut videos, to do B-roll footage, to do caption, to add other videos to it. Capcut. Capcut has a free thing, and let me tell you, some of y'all are using Capcut incorrectly, because at the end of Capcut, when you're doing the video, it has Capcut on the end of it. It should have your logo, referencing people back to who you are. That's one. Capcut. They do have a free version. I do the paid for version so I can have more tools to work with. All right, so we got Capcut. Here's another app that you guys could use. We're going to talk about. Now, I'm going to show my version. This is called Descript. Probably never heard of it. That's okay. This is just my version of it. Let me go to the main website so you guys can see it. Video editing software. What is really dope about Descript? Descript allows you to take out filler words that you pastors like using. All that kind of stuff. I can take that out of your video and make it almost sound like you were just pausing for a word into the next one, which brings about cohesion. Because a lot of y'all like filler words while you're thinking and talking, and it doesn't translate over into videos always. I want to make sure I make that clear. This also has the ability to do reels. This also has the ability to do dual shots, which means having two people in a video. So if you're doing StreamYard, I can put it in the StreamYard and cut the video, add the captions, and all that kind of stuff. That's what this does. Okay. Really dope product. I would say look into it for podcasting, for publishing, clip creation, transcripts. And I think here's the most important piece to Descript. And I want to say this to each pastor that's listening. The most powerful thing that you have outside of the Spirit of God that lies within you, your calling, and your vision for the church is this word right here that says transcription. You see, I can take your transcription and the words that you said and create a plethora of things to supplement your sermon where it can exist beyond the Sunday morning experience. Again, many of you are not trained to think beyond Sunday to Sunday. There's a whole year, month, quarter, all that kind of stuff that exists that we can use to help push content and help people see and reach your church. These are what transcription is a powerful tool. So you remember when G.E. Patterson got going and his service is still rocking and doing what it's supposed to be doing? Well, part of that is because G.E. Patterson had a video catalog and library that his voice will be forever sustainable. So here's my challenge to you, man or woman of God. Where's your library at? Can we go anywhere and pull a sermon down and create stuff from the message that people can use at a later time? If we cannot do that, then we're doing this backwards and we're wasting time. And we need to challenge ourselves to do it differently and reimagine our process. You worried about curriculum. You speak curriculum. Nobody has shown you how to put it in place. And so I sit in these rooms and I hear y'all talking. I know how to put it in place, but y'all don't engage that. And the first thing that we want to use, or going on a tangent here, is we want to use that money as the excuse. Money is not the excuse to ask good questions. Ask good questions. Then we talk about money. Amen. All right. What else we got? Now, here's the other piece that clip creation. Let's learn more about this. I'm gonna show y'all this. So look what all I can create from this one app. I can create big clips, small clips, audiographs, all types of stuff that makes my stuff look polished, clean, professional, and easy to transport from one app to the next. You got it? Tools that I use. Here's another tool that I'm using right now. And I'll show you this. This is the tool that I'm actually using right now that you're witnessing me take y'all through all this kind of stuff, right? This tool is really important to what I have in my home, because I'm able to do what I'm doing now, automatically archive it, save it for later, repurpose it as I need to, and send it anywhere I want to send it from my computer. So I can do Bible study from my computer, and I can be across town. I have my whole setup with me. All that stuff applies to me. Make sense? So those are the tools that I'm using to create reels. Reels and story are the most important things right now on social. Here's why they're so important. They're important because they're small and transportable. They're normally anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes long. I'm able to then share on multiple platforms and multiple times to refer people back to the main thing. Your main thing should be YouTube or Facebook, primarily YouTube. I said this before you last night. YouTube is the #1 social media application out here. Number 2 is Facebook. Number 3 is Instagram. Those are the facts. Okay. So you got to know how to use those. And many of churches don't know how to use YouTube correctly. And if I'm honest, why am I telling you all of this? Each one of the applications do have a cost associated with it, right? But here's why it's important. Because these things can bring about money and revenue back to your church. It becomes a stream of income that you can use for your church and bring money and revenue. Okay? I think I said enough. May God richly add a blessing to those who are hearers and doers of his word. It's been real, y'all. Thank y'all so much for letting me come through, man, and share. I love y'all. I appreciate it. Thank y'all, man. Peace.